Welcome back to my channel. So, as some of you may know, there's a running gag in the One Piece world that involves Usopp and going viral. Now, we have talked about this before and how it is very likely that this gag will play out in the actual story at some point. And honestly, I think I know exactly how it's going to happen. But before I can get into that, we have to talk about the idea of breaking the internet because that is where all of this is going to come into play. The idea of breaking the internet has been thrown around quite a bit over the past few years in the One Piece fandom. And if you don't already know, breaking the internet basically means doing something so crazy or unexpected that it overwhelms the internet and causes widespread disruption. Now, the phrase was actually first used back in 2013 when a photo of an egg, yes, just an egg, was posted online and it caused such a stir that websites started to slow down and crash. Now, obviously, that's not what people mean when they use the term today. Nowadays, it's usually used to describe someone who does something so shocking or impressive that it goes viral. And that's exactly what's gonna happen with our favorite sniper. So where am I going with all of this? Well, during the Wano Country arc, Usopp came to the realization that if he wanted to be famous, he needed to do something big, something that would make people go, Usopp, who? But the problem is Usopp doesn't really have any crazy devil fruit powers like Luffy or Zoro, so he has to be a little more creative with how he goes about doing things. And I think he might have just the thing. Now, up until this point, Luffy hasn't really done anything that could be considered internet breaking. I mean, sure, he punched a hole through Kato's chest, but other than that, nothing really comes to mind. But what if I told you that there was a way for him to change all of that? Enter stage left, the internet breaker. The next shot is Luffy in a fighting stance in front of a Wi-Fi router. He wins up a punch, yells Gomu Gomu no pistol, and smashes the router to pieces. He turns to Usopp, confused. It broke. Are we famous yet? Alright, let's break this down. As I mentioned earlier, breaking the internet means to do something so crazy or impressive that it goes viral. Now, if you've ever been on social media, then you know that one of the easiest ways to go viral is by doing something that is completely unexpected. Take Mr. Beast, for example. He's become famous for doing things like giving away $10,000 to random people on the street. That's not something you see every day, so of course it went viral. Similarly, if Luffy were to punch a hole through a giant robot that was clearly meant to be indestructible, that would definitely get people talking. And what better way to destroy a robot than with the power of friendship? Now, I know what you're thinking, but why does Luffy have to punch the router? Why not just do something more symbolic like step on it or something? Well, I'll tell you why. Because punching is what makes this whole thing funny. Just imagine the look on Usopp's face when Luffy tells him that he broke the internet, and he literally did it by punching it. It's just too good, and let's be real, this is exactly the kind of thing that Luffy would do. He's not really the most tech-savvy person, so he probably wouldn't know that punching a router would break the internet. He just sees a big bad robot that's blocking his path and he wants to smash it. Anyway, I just wanted to put this idea out there because I think it is pretty funny and I do love to see it happen in the anime. Of course, Oda could take this idea and make it even better, which is why I'm also curious to hear your thoughts. What do you think? Would Luffy punching a router actually break the internet? And do you think Oda will ever use this gag in the anime? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.